that somebody's going to lose their life just because of a couple of $100s on a tax bill, and I don't think that's worth it. I think that anyone, if you confronted them and they were having the heart attack or the stroke, that they would say, yeah, I'll cough up the $200, get the ambulance here in 3 minutes, not in 10. So just be wise about it, I guess.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
My name is Jim Bailey, and I live on number 9 Greenfield Drive in Merrimack. I'm also on the Call Fire Department in Merrimack. I've been on the department for 4 years now, and I thought it was important that I stop by tonight and maybe voice an opinion that might be mirrored by other members of the Call Fire Department. We've been asked by our lieutenants and chiefs to step up to the plate and respond to Central Fire to fill in while the duty crew was out on a call, and they also explained to us that a lot of the full-time guys on this new plan won't be coming back to the station unless it's a confirmed house fire or other emergencies like that. I guess my concerns with that are, as a call firefighter, I've been to probably 4 real house fires in the last 4 years. Even though I've been to all the trainings, it was very surreal when I went in there. The guys were already in. I was like the third, our truck was the third due in. And when I walked into that place, it was so surreal that the television was on, there was water running through the ceiling. It was just total chaos. And I felt almost like, wow, of all this training that I took, what do I do now? And I certainly look to the full-time guys for their leadership. If we are the first, if we're standing by at Station 1 and we're the first due coming to Betty's house because it's a reported structure fire, I'm not too comfortable coming to your house, Betty, or anybody in Merrimack, knowing that my veteran firefighters are going to be 10 to 15 minutes behind me by the time they go to their house, go to the station, or go from their house directly to the scene. I just get real nervous about that. I don't have the experience those guys have. I will do anything that I'm asked to do at the fire scene, but I just think that there's a real concern for safety on the call firefighters, on the residents of Merrimack, knowing that the experience isn't going to be showing up for possibly 8 to 10 minutes behind us. So I just thought that it was important that you weigh that in. You have a monumental task here. I understand that we're trying to get the budget back in line and try to keep these people in Merrimack from losing their houses because their taxes are too high. But I think there's a bench line there somewhere that we need to find, that we're not throttling back too much and jeopardizing the safety of the firefighters or the residents of Merrimack. And I thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
Mr. Chairman and the council, my name is Murray Collette. I live at 15 Sunset Drive. Longtime resident of Merrimack, grew up here. Chose to live here and also work in one of the large industries the chief talked about during his presentation and rely on protection in the workplace as well. I had the opportunity to become a satisfied customer of the fire department 2 days ago. We woke up 5:30 in the morning on Tuesday in the middle of the ice storm with smoke in the house and a fire that was raging outside a fireplace. Put a call into 911 and engine 2 was there from the South Station to my house located near Thorntons Ferry School in about 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. Had the thing knocked down very quickly, very efficiently. A backup engine came from Central. By the time that engine got there, the fire was under control and hadn't spread into the attic, but was within, I'm told, minutes of getting into the attic and causing severe damage to the house. Luckily, everybody got out safe and there's minimal damage. But what I learned there and what I saw in the chief's presentation this evening from home, I was watching the cable channel, is that response time is absolutely critical. The 2-minute response from engine 2, from what I heard today, was in some ways, I was very lucky. It was a busy night. There was multiple accidents going on that night, but my fire chose to break out at a time when that engine wasn't occupied or wasn't relocated to Central or wasn't somewhere else busy. Had it been, I might not be here right now, I might be handling much more of a bigger issue at home than I do have right now. So I'm equating response time, which obviously costs money, and over time costs money elsewhere in terms of quality of life. We're able to be here and live in the town, and because of the protection that's around, when that protection isn't available, either due to budget issues or due to multiple events happening simultaneously, our quality of life can suffer. It also becomes a financial question of, do we pay for this quality of life in our taxes, or do we pay for it in increased insurance premiums as the fire responses are all graded by the insurance companies? We pay for it somewhere. The very first question the insurance company asked me when I called them that day was, what fire truck responded, where did it come from, and how far did it take to get there? And their options for answers were 0 to 2 miles, 3 to 5 miles, or greater. And that obviously goes into a database of how much this claim costs versus the distance that truck had to come. And as those distances change due to response times, our insurance rates will be adjusted accordingly. So I ask you to take a look at that, and I thought the offer or the suggestion from the chief to solve the immediate problem through an increase of overtime budget may be one way to get there. There may be other ways to even bring budgets back to what they were in the past to keep the response time even during times of multiple issues happening in the town at the same time. So thank you very much for your consideration, and thanks for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sharon Barney. I live at 76 London Court, and I want to thank the council for trying to keep our taxes down. I also want to thank Mr. Bailey, I don't know if he's still here, who volunteers for the fire department. I am here because of that reason. I think volunteers in this town are very, very important. They're very underestimated. People have no idea. We never had these problems when we had Mars ambulance service, when it was run strictly by volunteers in this town. There were several paramedics, nurses. There was always 7 people on at night to run those 2 ambulance service. And it was a wonderful, wonderful, we never had these problems. With that being said, I've lived in Merrimack all my life. I went to school with Betty Spence. I worked with Betty on the fire department. I've been an EMT on the Mars ambulance service. Went to nursing school. I've been a nurse for 23 years. I'm certified in IVs. I'm CPR certified. Like I said, I've been a nurse. I worked in the St. Joe's operating room for 10 years. I have psych nursing. I have geriatric nursing. And I've worked at the Valley Street Jail. I've worked with very bad situations. I'm used to this. I did try to volunteer with the EMS department here. I did go down, and I did take their pre-entrance exam. I would ask all of you, including Keith, to please take this exam. It was 100 questions. I got halfway through the test, and I did say to Mr. Parenti, I think I'm done. I don't want to be a firefighter. There was not one medical question on this test. I did call Fran LaRue, who was, she used to be head of Mars Ambulance here. She was a paramedic. She's now head of St. Joe's Emergency Medical Services there. I asked her if I wanted to volunteer there, what would be required of me. She didn't understand why I had to take a test, being a nurse for 23 years. My fire chief in town is a basic EMT. I feel that I have more qualifications than my chief of fire department. She said, I would put you on a rig tonight. I don't understand why you had to take a test. My point is, the test had no emergency medical questions on it whatsoever. I felt it was dealt all with fire, hoses and nozzles and pictures of gears, and if this gear goes, which gears would go. Halfway through the test, I was humiliated. I said, you know what, I don't need this. I do apologize to the town, because I would have loved to given you 2 or 3 nights of my time free. And for what they pay for nurses in this town and in hospitals, I mean, I thought I was doing the town a favor. I just don't want volunteerism to be down looked upon. Yes, I have more experience than most of their EMTs riding their rigs right now, but I am a true person. I'm there to help people. And the only reason I went to apply was because a year ago, the chief and Mr. Parenti were begging for volunteers. We were talking about budget cuts, and they said that they weren't having people volunteer. I went down, and I was totally humiliated. I really was. I just wish that maybe somebody could look at this aptitude test for the emergency medical system. It has no medical questions on it whatsoever. And I actually spoke to a lawyer, and he said, "What did you have to take a test for?" I have my own nursing license. I am certified by the state, CPR state certified. So I apologize. I did try, and I think maybe Keith or someone needs to look into this. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you. Anyone else? Any comments from the council, beginning with Tom?
I'm not going to extend this any further. Good night.
Nancy?
The only thing I'd say is thank you for all the help the fire department, police department, anyone else who helped all the citizens of the town over this ice storm. Good job, and thank you very much.
Mike?
I'd like to thank all the department heads for the work that they've done, the help that they all worked on, all the budgets. I'd like to thank my fellow board members for all the work and the hours that we've also put in. In regards to Mrs. Bates, I do believe that most of the newer construction with trusses, I think, is it code in this town for smoke detectors and fire alarms? I think that is one of the, I think one of those are the things for the new construction which alleviated that problem. And if I could ask the town manager there, if he could get me a list on the last 10 years on, I won't even go back, I'll go back 7 years, on how many house fires and commercial fires there were in buildings in this town, and what were the results? And if there was any personal injuries on those fires. Thank you.
Betty?
I want to say I ditto most of the comments by Nancy, especially during our recent storm. And I'm well aware of the number of calls that occurred on that day because I was listening. And I appreciate everyone's help, not only the fire department, but the police department and our highway workers and all that are involved. I would like to make just one brief statement, and that has to do with call firefighters. It has never been my intent to replace our full-time firefighters with call firefighters. My intent on discussing firefighters as call firefighters would be to utilize them as the full-time firefighters' support. And I want to make that clear because I know that some people have actually asked me, and I have in fact given them my opinion, and I thought that I would just make a public statement that that is the intent. It can go on record that it is not to replace full-time firefighters. It's to use them as support. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to echo my support and thanks to the department heads and all the individuals that have worked on putting this budget together and bringing it forward to us. I thank you for your time and energy, Keith, for your energy and efforts in putting this together as well. If I could indulge the council for just a minute, I wanted to make a request that's not a budget related, but due to this past storm and because of what has happened at my house with the cable being ripped off the side of the house due to the ice, I'm curious if the town manager could find out from Comcast how much damage their company is dealing with as far as cable outages. I've talked to other people that are missing their internet service right now. I called on Monday when my service went out. They said they'd get right back to me. I called again today, and they said they couldn't talk to me until Tuesday, which over a week, you know, with no response from when I called Monday. I mean, I'm hoping the answer is that thousands and thousands of people in town are out, that's why they're just swamped. But if we could get some kind of report back, just how difficult the situation is, I would appreciate it. So I'm asking the council if they would support that request rather than me trying to direct the town manager.
I think I can speak
Very
for
well
it.
written.
It's a very good,
request.
very good
Yeah.
request.
Tom.
Thank you.
Finley?
I just want to echo Tom's and all statement, thanking the department managers and staff for the efforts. The hours are killing me, so I'm sure it's killing them.
Okay. In closing, I would like to also say thank you and also remind everyone, if I have, as we get into budgets and we get into cutting, there's a lot of people, it's a moment that, you know, it's anxiety. It affects people, it affects jobs, it affects a lot of things. I've always felt as a counselor to try and get the facts in the discussion, and that is why today, as we were going around, when I asked for that exercise about Howard, I felt it's important for everyone at home and for every counselor to understand the impact. The easiest thing in the world would have been not to go there. I felt when we're casting our votes, we had to have everything on the table. And again, as I've said before, my feeling is that if I had my way, there'd be a fire truck parked in everyone's driveway. You're only going to be able to get so much, and you hope for the best. But I feel people have information tonight that they'll have to make decisions on. At the same time, it is also my hope that whatever is decided, we can all deal with it gracefully. And it's not a situation, as has been in the past, where there's been letters to the editor and other issues. We want what's best for the town. We're not trying to hurt anyone or anything. When I say letters to the editor, I don't mean individuals, I mean fire unions to that effect. Again, it's their right to, but we're trying to do what's best. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes 7-0-0.
Hello, Merrimack, and welcome to my TV show. We got a great show for you today. Today we're going to be talking about rock climbing.
I'm a pretty busy guy. Work, the gym, dating. I can't always watch Merrimack TV. So every morning when I wake up, I put on the patch.
Merrimack TV has cameras, editing facilities, even a TV studio, and training for all of it, free to Merrimack residents. And now we're going to go over the rock climbing equipment.
There's only one thing I like more than watching my own show on Merrimack TV.
Bag and ball, harness, rope, and most important.
And that's making my own show on Merrimack TV.